So let's take a look. Let's take a look. Pistols. Let's see what they're doing on the pistols. So it's a 4-player stack over towards halls. They've got smoke from the Viper to try and take some early tree control. Wall comes down. Wall being placed during the round on these kind of double controller comps does indicate a bit more than if you're pre-placing walls. And Northampton are just contacting into them a tree as they all go underneath to wrap around arcade. Oh my lord. Okay. Well, the Zeta players were absolutely not expecting that to happen. Well, that worked pretty perfectly. Would have loved to see what would happen if the Zeta players were actually trying to take halls or got any information about the push coming through, but they just contacted all the way up to them. So that's kind of one of those pistol rounds where it just couldn't have gone more perfectly for Northampton. Let's see. Maybe that's just a fault line, actually, that he's holding. Yeah, I think it's just a fault line. So they're not going to go hyper aggro. He's holding the stun off contact towards Dish. But they are really playing for bridge control without actually flushing it out. They have no information about whether there's people there because they haven't played aggressively. They're just giving halls control and tree control to Zeta. Okay, now they're really slowly, cautiously clearing bridge. And now you want to be looking for any reactive plays. They could have sand control here. It's super possible that these kind of teams would take fast sand control, and this trademark wouldn't really tell you whether they are in on the A site. And of course, they could be in through B as well, and you wouldn't really have audio here. So normally people will try and, if you're doing a bridge crunch, normally people are going to try and go fast so that once you clear it out, these attackers have less time to realize you're not there and react in. Because Northampton have taken a long time clearing out bridge. I mean, they've taken like 40 seconds clearing bridge. These players could be in all sorts of weird places. I mean, in theory, they could even be in your spawn at this point. So, a bit weird in terms of the plan that they've gone for here. But from Zeta's point of view, they didn't actually have anybody over at bridge side to let them know that they were pushing, so the danger has been averted somewhat. Nobody in the spawn. And it's more of a slower default by Zeta. Maybe just a read on how Zeta play as well, just being a little slower. Though they were fairly fast to react off a bridge crunch previously. So Deriali just walking into that smoke is a bit dangerous. And then decides to run through the other side, even though they have no information about whether or not they could all be grouped up in halls. That could have gone very poorly. I'm just trying to think whether or not they know that there's a lot of players outside B, but I don't think they do. I think, if anything, that's just an info play that could have lost on the A side. Blackway's on the anchor as 10 goes in. Huge kill, shutting down the showstopper. Blackway's holding his ground. And the counter breach ult is very powerful with such little time on the clock as well. Wow, Depp just rolls them. Pretty decent timing plays here from Northampton. Zinfree playing this one not to deny the plant, but he has a good idea of where Laz is positioned. Laz with a great read. So, again, off the rip, just another kind of like unforced error situation as Zinfree just misses the boom bot. And it just kind of rattles around at the top of halls, which it's supposed to get info for them at the bottom. And it kind of fucks their halls push up, but alright. They use a fault line. And no additional utility. God, this is dreadful. The players are just making so many unforced errors and their timings are so off. I've got to think that they were choking on stage or something. I mean, there's like, what, 18,000 people in the arena all screaming at you? That'll take some adjusting to. But it has... when people are asking, what difference does it make playing at a live crowd? I've played on LAN before, like that kind of shit. The crowd makes a huge difference. Even compared to playing like a master, like Champions Finals might not be as stressful and mistake-inducing as like a random playoff game, upper bracket round 1 with a big crowd. The crowd just makes a huge amount of difference. And the noise, you might not be able to hear a lot of stuff. I know they'll try and noise isolate and soundproof it as much as possible, but you'll still feel the vibrations of the crowd and the rumblings of it in a stadium like this. For the finals, they had 18,000 people in the stadium. For this game, Day-Day's saying that it was a half stadium, so it was like 11, 12K. But, yeah. They were using the thunder sticks as well. And if you've never been to a live situation, you could not possibly make a noise with your mouth louder than you could with a thunder stick. In a stadium like this, where every single Japanese fan is using the thunder sticks, that shit is going to be insanely loud. Unbelievably loud. They might not look as, like, rowdy as some other crowds, but every one of them is using the thunder sticks. And those things are crazy.